Not every door opens with noise. Some appear in silence, and if you miss them, there's no second chance. This spiritual door has already appeared. Yes, it's here, and most people will walk right past it, distracted by end times theories, waiting for signs in the sky while the real test is already unfolding. Quietly, personally, invisibly. This isn't about a future event. It's happening now. The real test before the rapture isn't public. It's hidden in your daily choices, in your discipline when no one's watching, in your obedience without reward. The spiritual door doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It appears when your heart is aligned. And the terrifying truth? You could be standing before it right now and not even know. Forget what they told you about crowds, chaos, and cosmic signs. The rapture won't begin with fireworks. It begins with a whisper. This spiritual door is not for the curious. It's for the convicted. While millions chase headlines, a few are quietly walking through. And the only way to see it is to discern it. This is not a metaphor. This is your moment. So don't scroll past this. Don't treat this video like just another prophecy clip. This is a spiritual alert, a wake-up call. The spiritual door has appeared, and whether you pass the test or not will determine everything. Some people spend their entire lives waiting for a grand sign, a trumpet blast, a visible move in the sky, and never realize that the true door was placed right in front of them, silently. In Revelation 3:8, Jesus makes it clear, "Behold, I have set before you an open door." But this door has no visible hinges. It doesn't creak, it doesn't shine, it doesn't draw attention. It is spiritual. And the most astonishing part? It only opens for those who are watching with inner discernment. This door is not a denomination, a prayer group, or a prophetic conference. It's an individual passage, disguised in the routines of everyday life. For example, that difficult moment when you choose to forgive someone who never apologized. Or the moment when you decide to stay silent when you could gain points by speaking up. That's where God watches. The door is placed where no one's looking, and only those with spiritual sensitivity step through. Matthew 25:10 gives a chilling warning. The door closes. It's no use being nearby, hearing about it, or commenting on videos about the end if you don't enter at the right time. It's like standing at the gate of a plane, ready to take off, but you pause to reply to a message and miss the flight. Spiritually, that's what's happening. Many are at the threshold, but too distracted to notice that boarding has already begun. And what's curious is that most people are still waiting for something external, maybe a leader, an event, a heavenly sign. But the most alert already sense the crossing has started. They understand the door isn't a place. It's a moment, a choice, and that moment often arrives disguised in ordinary situations. It feels like just another random Tuesday, but it might be the beginning of a one-way journey. God never pushes anyone through the spiritual door. That's not his way. He watches patiently, silently, as each heart makes decisions that seem small to the world but echo loudly in the heavens. It's not a theology test. It's not about quoting verses or preaching sermons. This test happens in the quiet corners of life, in your thoughts, your reactions, your motives. It's invisible, but not insignificant. Every decision is a thread in the spiritual fabric you're weaving. This test is made of sacrifices that no one applauds, like forgiving someone who never said sorry, like walking away from gossip when everyone else is enjoying it, like choosing holiness in a private moment that nobody will ever know about. It's about integrity when no one's watching, and obedience when there's no reward. That's where heaven leans in. That's where the spiritual door begins to form. Quietly, subtly, yet powerfully. You won't get a notification saying, "You passed the test today." There are no spiritual trophies, no applause from the crowd, but the eyes of the Lord roam the earth, looking for those whose hearts are fully His. 2 Chronicles 16:9. And those people, they're crossing the door, often without realizing it. While the world searches for signs and wonders, heaven marks quiet obedience as divine transition. It's that serious and that hidden. Some people are walking this test daily and don't even know it's a test. The way they respond to rejection, the way they give generously without expecting praise, the way they remain faithful in seasons of silence. It's a spiritual exam disguised as routine. And while many wait for lightning from the sky, God is passing by in the whisper. And those who hear it, they're already closer to the next level than they think. Right now, while many are distracted by noise, there are people being spiritually marked. Just like in Ezekiel 9, God is sealing those who grieve over the condition of the world, those whose hearts ache over spiritual decay. They're not famous, they're not trending, but they are burning inside. These are men and women who cry in prayer closets, not on stages. They're carrying a burden that heaven recognizes, even if earth ignores it. That kind of ache, it doesn't go unnoticed by God. You won't see them posting revelations online or boasting about dreams. Instead, they live in a quiet rhythm of separation, distancing themselves from compromise, from pride, from spiritual numbness. They listen for the Spirit's whispers, even when it means saying no to things everyone else calls normal. That inner compass keeps them aligned. They obey in the secret place. And because of that, they are passing through the door, one obedient step at a time. These people aren't waiting for the rapture like it's some celestial fireworks show. They're living the rapture now, internally, spiritually. While the masses prepare their timelines for the end times, these chosen ones prepare their hearts. They feel the urgency, not from headlines, but from the Holy Spirit pressing on their soul. They live like strangers in this world, detached yet present. Their gaze is fixed, not on events, but on eternity. Spiritual awakening doesn't always look like revival tents or emotional worship nights. Sometimes it looks like a mom praying over her child at midnight, a young man fasting in secret, a woman walking away from bitterness without needing applause. They are passing the test in silence. Heaven knows their names, even if no one else does. And while they may not see it yet, their feet are already stepping into the new season, into the next topic, into a decision many are still delaying. Think about the 10 virgins in Matthew 25. All 10 were in the same place, at the same time, waiting for the same bridegroom. On the surface, they looked identical, same lamps, same intentions. But when the moment came, only 5 were ready. The other 5 were locked out, not because they were in the wrong place, but because they lacked what mattered most: oil. That oil represents more than preparation. It represents intimacy, daily connection, and hidden discipline. Many today are standing in front of the door, but without oil. Being active in church doesn't mean you're spiritually awake. Singing, serving, even preaching can all be done without discernment. Some know all the songs, but haven't heard God's voice in months. Others are busy with ministry, but empty in the secret place. That's the danger. Being near the holy, but not holy. It's not that they don't know the word. It's that they've stopped letting the word examine them. They're religiously positioned, but spiritually asleep. God isn't measuring who's loudest or most visible. He's measuring the ones who've maintained the flame. And that flame doesn't burn because of noise or applause. It stays lit in silence, fed by surrender, sacrifice, and the oil of hidden obedience. These are the ones who will recognize when the door opens. The others, they might still be waiting for a bigger sign, while the divine moment slips by. It's not about looking ready, it's about actually being ready. And here's the sobering truth. Some will realize they missed it, but only after the door closes. Just like in the parable, they'll knock, they'll cry out, but it'll be too late. The time for preparation isn't when the trumpet sounds. It's now, in the quiet. The decisions that seem small today will determine everything tomorrow. And that urgency, it leads us straight into the next reality, a truth that many are avoiding. Yet, it's already happening. Genesis 7:16 reveals something terrifying and final. Then the Lord shut the door. It wasn't Noah who closed it. It wasn't a storm. It was God himself. When he closes a door, no amount of shouting, knocking, or regret can reopen it. That's the level of seriousness we're dealing with. The spiritual door that's open now won't stay open forever. There will be a divine moment of closure, silent, sudden, irreversible. Many are waiting for a better time to surrender. They say, "I'll get serious next year, when things calm down, when I feel more spiritual." But the delay is a deception. Every postponed act of obedience is a step away from the door. Hesitation might feel harmless, but in God's timeline, it's rejection in slow motion. And the scary part, the longer someone delays, the colder their spirit gets, until one day, the door shuts and they don't even feel it. This door isn't closed by external persecution or loud temptations. It closes through subtle, quiet erosion. It's the spiritual fatigue that comes from endless scrolling, the numbness from compromise, the distraction from busyness. It's the slow fade that makes someone religiously present but spiritually absent. The kind of person who says the right things, yet their fire has gone out. That's how the door closes, not with noise, but with neglect. Right now, the test is happening. The opportunity to respond is alive. But the longer someone waits, the more they normalize spiritual apathy. And here's the hard truth. The door won't wait for feelings to catch up. It responds to action, to obedience, to discernment. And for those still undecided, there's another layer to this mystery, something few understand about what truly determines who enters and who stays behind. Let's clear something up. Being popular, loud, or well followed won't get anyone through the door. The rapture won't be decided by how many church services you attended or how many end times videos you watched. Jesus said the way is narrow and few find it, Matthew 7:14. That narrow path often looks like insignificant decisions to the human eye. But in heaven's perspective, those small acts of faithfulness are massive. While many chase prophetic timelines, they miss the personal invitation. The door doesn't open to crowds, it opens to conviction. Here's the twist. The most decisive spiritual moments rarely feel dramatic. Choosing purity when temptation whispers. Saying yes to God when no one else will understand. Spending time in prayer when you could scroll for hours. These aren't headline moments, but they're heaven moments. And that's the real test. While the world waits for earthquakes and blood moons, heaven watches the choices made in the kitchen, the car, and the workplace. That's where the rapture starts, in private obedience. Too many are waiting for a visible event to wake them up spiritually. But by the time the crowd reacts, the door may already be closed in the spirit. Some will say, "But I was ready." Yet the door responds to readiness, not religious hype. That's why the wise remain alert daily. They treat each moment as sacred, each choice as spiritual, because they know the difference between being close to the door and actually walking through it. This isn't a group decision. You can't ride in on someone else's faith. Your spouse, your pastor, your friends, they can't walk through the door for you. This is personal, deeply personal, and it's silent, no fanfare. Just you and the Spirit of God whispering, "Now is the time." And those who respond, they don't just hear about the rapture, they experience it inwardly before it ever happens outwardly. Which brings us to the final, urgent question. Are you standing before that door right now? The spiritual door is not a theory. It's a reality. It's standing before you now, waiting for your response. Will you keep waiting for thunder, or will you answer the whisper? What hidden obedience is God asking from you today? What small choice have you been postponing that heaven has already marked as crucial? Don't ignore the quiet pull in your spirit. What if this moment is your invitation to cross over? What if this is the real test before the rapture, and you've been closer to it than you ever imagined? The truth is,